The station of the stars. RTI.
That'll be us then. That'll be us. And we're going to start the show slightly different. I'm going to say quick hello to Lee, who's in the studio, as you can probably see.
Can I just say something?
If you want.
I wasn't picking my nose then when he put the camera on. I was having a scratch like that, but it looked like I got my finger up my nose.
Oh, right. Well, before we start, we're going to pay tribute to a legend, a broadcast legend, who's just the most... I don't know, there's something special. We'll find out why. This is our little tribute to the legendary David Dimbleby, who hosted his final question time after 25 years last night. And this is how he ended the show.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I was going to say some people might think you are the joke about Brexit.
Get off. I won't respond.
Our time is up. Apologies to you. Question time is back on January the 10th in Islington. Call 0330 123 9988 if you'd like to be in the audience, or you can go to the Question Time website. The address is on the screen and apply there. If you want your say on any of the things we've been talking tonight, Adrian Childs and his guests on Question Time Extra Time on BBC 5 Live is running now. And that's the end of the service announcements. But this programme marks the end of my tenure of the chair. Thank you very, very much. I just wanted to add some words to that, which was to say that after a quarter of a century I'm off to new pastures, or at least in search of new pastures. But I didn't want to end without saying something about this programme, which it is, of all the programmes I've ever worked in for the BBC, a truly team effort. And I did want to end by thanking the people who've made it possible over these last 25 years, the editors, the producers, the researchers, the directors, our technical backup. And a special thank you to our engine room, who've been here right through, Danny and Ali and Karen, who find the places we go to and select our audiences, which, as we know, with the political pressures on us, is not very easy. But above all, I wanted to thank you here tonight, this audience, and you're joining over 100,000 people in the last 25 years who've been in the Question Time audience and who've exercised this, what I think is a really important democratic right, to put questions to the panel and to argue with each other as you have been tonight. So I just want to say thank you all, our audiences, both at home and here in the studios, very much. And so my thanks to tonight's panel. And Question Time, remember, Thursday, January the 10th. Fiona Bruce will be in the chair. I hope you'll join her then. From me, a happy Christmas, and not goodbye, but good night.
Mr. Attitude, Eric Wiltshire.
This is not the BBC.
RTI.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
You're never more than a minute away from the music on RTI.
Oh, that would be normal. We just wanted to point out that we are not the BBC. That was our tribute to David Dimbleby, who for the past 25 years has been looking after an amazing programme called Question Time. And I have to say, the one thing he said that I thought was really absolutely on the nose, it gave people a chance to question MPs and other commentators, and by doing so, it gave the ordinary citizen access to people who make decisions. And I thought that was amazing.
It is. It was it is a very, very good show. And He got this urbane charm. He got this dreadful taste in ties. And
They were lovely ties.
he was and
Just a bit more culturally organised than
what
the Sun.
his ties were.
Yeah, they were brilliant.
His ties were for. Anyway, he was just a very charming, very intelligent, very clever broadcaster. Yeah, you can't say away. He followed in the footsteps of his dad, actually, didn't he?
Yeah, he was. There was just something very, very amazing about it. Hi to Debbie Flint, who's joined us. Hi, Debbie.
Hello, Debbie.
Stephen's there. Dave Rhodes is there. Arpad is there. And on the other side of the fence, we've got... I have no idea how you say that. I'm going to guess it's Zender, which is kind of okay. Hello to Kalowski, who's probably in Poland. To Samuel, to Sam, Adam, Bailey's there, and so many other people. We'll get round to saying hello to as many as possible as we can throughout the hour. Lynn's just joined us as well on Facebook.
How do you do?
Hello, Lynn. You can tell he's here, can't you? How do you do?
How do you do?
How do you do?
I learned that off a Welshman in the Welsh mountains.
We're going to a Welsh obit in a minute.
Oh, no, we're not.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, little liar.
We are.
Oh, Mr. Griffiths, aye.
Yes.
He's dead, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, no, a Welsh double glazing salesman. He used to knock on the doors. I used to go out with him because we used to get very drunk together. And he'd knock on the doors, and that was his opening going. How do you do? Like
There you
that.
go. Lynn says, "Hi, Eric, from Harpenden in Hertfordshire."
Hertfordshire.
It's you have to say it very properly, you see.
Yes.
Because Lynn would do that.
Can I just say something?
Oh, God, you're going to.
Who's going to take over from David Dimbleby?
Fiona Bruce.
Oh, right, I didn't know that.
You're supposed to be a journalist to know these things.
Well, it passed me by.
It passed me by.
I thought Adrian Childs was in with the shout.
No.
Why?
He's not anywhere near in a shout for that show.
Well, I'm sorry. I just thought maybe he was. Maybe that's why he was bragging about his alcoholism and everything to try and bring his publicity up. He's very good. He's very good at his job.
He's not question time.
No, I didn't. That's why I was interested, because I thought it was a strange person to do it. But then I'm wrong, so I don't care. Get lost. I'm not talking to you.
Well, it'd be like you or I doing question time.
I'd be brilliant. You'd be crap.
You'd be rubbish, and
You'd
I'd be
be
brilliant.
rubbish.
You tell him, Drifter. You tell him. Go on, you tell him. He'd be absolutely rubbish.
Right, this whole show, I'm not talking to him, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
That's going to make for great radio, isn't it?
No, I'll talk to you. I'm not talking to him.
Right. Okay.
I'm not talking to you.
You're not talking to me anymore.
Nope.
Ray Chavez, or Chavez.
Chavez.
One of the survivors of the attack on Pearl Harbor, who saw all the kamikaze pilots coming in from Japan, has died at the grand old age of 106. And I've got to say, good on you, Ray.
Yeah.
Good on you. To have survived that long after that atrocity that was Pearl Harbor, because there was no... I mean, you just can't make it up, can you? Just to come blasting in there as they did, especially with the kamikaze pilots as well. I don't know what they were on or what they were thinking at the time, but he had a really very, very difficult life. He was perpetually shaking from the equivalent of combat fatigue.
That's right.
And he had a terrible life, but let's just hope he has a wonderful, wonderful long life up where he is now.
But he had a good
really
life.
Cool.
He did have a good life in a way, because he became a spokesman for old soldiers, and he travelled a lot and was often quoted about how we should respect old soldiers, and I think that
He's
really,
right.
yeah,
He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
We don't have enough respect about a lot of things in this world, and one of them is the wonderful people that give us the opportunity to mess about on the radio every Friday, doing what we do, and. These guys need as many thanks as possible.
Of course they do.
And they just are fantastic people.
They're the ones who gave us freedom, the thing that the British proletariat want to get rid of.
What?
Just being a bit controversial, it's my job.
That's not controversial.
It is. What?
No,
they went out and fought for our freedom, and all the idiots want to get rid of it, want to destroy democracy in the UK.
No, they don't.
Yes, they
Far
do.
from it. We've got democracy in the UK.
We haven't.
We have.
Well,
No,
yes,
we
do.
we haven't.
We
because
do.
I don't live there anymore. But
We do have democracy in the UK, but we do. But the British people are doing everything they can to destroy it. Yes, we accept that a second referendum is a possibility, but what people are forgetting is that the first referendum has to, by law, by statute, have the chance to carry out its duty before you have the second referendum.
That's democracy.
That's democracy, but that isn't democracy. When you're saying get rid of everybody, let's have another referendum anyway. That's a different story.
We're going to do two out of three.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like playing darts, isn't
Oh,
it?
flipping heck. George Cooper, the mainstay of the television drama Grange Hill, and
He wasn't a mainstay of Grange Hill.
Oh, Mr. Granger was just like, he reminded me of my woodwork teacher.
He was Mr. Griffiths, not Mr. Granger.
Mr. Griffiths, sorry, of Grange Hill.
Dear.
He just reminded me of my woodwork teacher. He really did. And he was forever walking around going, boyo, boyo, boyo.
Yeah.
You remember?
That was his Welsh accent, wasn't it?
That was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Mine was pretty rubbish.
yeah.
But I don't know. They seem to think he came to notice on the West End stage. I don't know that.
Why?
Well, because I've only ever been to the West End stage once.
Was it short?
No, I went to see. It was at the Cambridge Theatre.
Yes.
Not that long ago. What's the play that begins with C? Somebody help me out. I've forgotten. Cambridge Theatre, London. It was on, and I was given really top end seats. You know, the really snobby ones.
Yeah.
And when I went back and they said, did you like it? I said, it was an experience.
Yeah.
And they said, but it's like, I can't remember the name now. We even got a mug with it on. But it's the theatre. And I went, yeah. Well, what was the problem? I said, well, it was like having 3 stages.
Yeah.
No, there's only one. No, it was like having 3. You got the acting bit in the middle.
Yeah.
Then there wasn't any proper wings, so you could see the people ready to come on stage.
Yeah.
Because the curtains were only sort of a little bit drawn over and we were slightly to one side. So you could see when Lee was going to come on stage. And I'm going, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's deconstructed stage work, isn't it? It's
No,
quite
it's called rubbish.
Well, it isn't. It's one of the most traditional forms of British theatre. Shakespeare used to do it.
That's it, Dave. Thank you very much. Chicago.
Chicago.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you. But let's be serious. So because George A. Cooper wasn't in Chicago when you went to the theatre, he didn't really make his name on the West End stage. Of course he did. He was opposite Albert Finney in things like Billy Liar and all sorts of things. He was a very consummate stage actor. He did all sorts of things at the Cambridge Theatre. Actually, I've just read.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, so you went to see him. It wasn't.
No, I did go to see Chicago because I've got a mug.
You got a mug?
Yeah, I bought a mug.
Yeah, it's me. And
I found you on the street corner. Oh, thanks, Drifter. Good chat, says Drifter. We don't let EW into London much. He gets on a bus, and that's it. Chaos ensues. Oh, David, I know what you're... That's a very in joke.
Well, let's not share it then.
No, it's good, because it takes the mickey out of David.
Go on, then.
Because one day...
I know it.
You know the story.
I do, yes.
Because one day David says, I'll meet you in London to go to do a radio show. And I was actually there in London, so I met him near his work. And he said, you're going on a bus. I went, what? Excuse me? A bus? And I think that's the last time I ever got on a bus. A proper bus, as opposed to a coach, where you're in luxury seats, you understand.
That's okay.
And so we get on this big red London bus.
Nothing wrong with that. Did you go upstairs?
We went upstairs.
Did you spit on the floor?
No, but I'm going to everybody, here, I'm on a big red London bus. And Dave's sitting next to me going, oh my God, no, stop it. He looks like the man with a tin can in his hand saying it's a bomb or something. And I'm going, get on the phone. And then my phone goes, and I said, hello, yeah, I'm on the top of a big red bus, it's wonderful. I'm looking down at all the people. You're banned from London Transport, am I really? And it was just great fun all the way. But you know when you have this vision of somebody trying to dig a hole to hide in?
Yeah.
That's the image you have to have of Dave Rhodes. on that bus
Poor
journey.
old Dave.
Yeah,
here's a true story, right, about journalists who actually did something very similar. And one of them's a broadcaster now. Well, two of them are, because it was me and him.
You mean they've grown up?
Me and him. He's very well known.
You really lost that one.
I know, because I knew you'd pick on me. Right. Yeah, I bet you know him. You'll know the name anyway. Mike Kiddie. Radio Liverpool. He used to be on Radio Manchester, Radio Piccadilly. You see what the papers say on Radio Piccadilly. Anyway, he was the same as me. He works on the Sun in Manchester, and as journalists do, went out at Christmas. And it's even topical. It's about Christmas.
Oh, blimey.
And we met up for a pint at lunchtime on Christmas Eve.
Not that we recommend that, boys and girls.
No, don't meet me for a pint on Christmas Eve.
No. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
No.
And we got incredibly, very sillily drunk, and we both. And Mike had to go and get a Christmas.
You're just not a good person with the morals of the audience, are you?
I've been drunk for all my life. It's good. I
know that.
And anyway, Mike had to go and get a Christmas tree. So we went round the shops, couldn't find a Christmas tree, right? So we got on a train to Delamere Forest in Cheshire to go and buy a Christmas tree out of the forest. That was because we were a bit drunk and we thought that made sense. And we missed the last train back and we had to stay in a hotel and we got back on Boxing Day.
Oh dear. I've just got a flashback to a story from... No, I'm not going to do that one. Microsoft and me drunk and trains. No. Anyway, George Cooper. Back to George Cooper.
He's dead.
He's died. And
he was on the West End stage, don't you know?
Yeah, he was in Grange Hill.
That wasn't on the West End stage.
With...
Anton Dick.
No.
Weren't they in?
No, I'm trying to think of somebody else who's on there. Who now works in...
We're Anton Dick on Grange Hill, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Nicholas somebody.
Cage.
No, Nicholas somebody. Nick somebody was on Grange Hill, or in Grange Hill. Yeah. And he's now a well-known, actually...
Biker Grove, wasn't it?
Radio presenter.
Who?
Nick.
What?
And I can't remember what Nick's surname is.
Well, why are you telling us?
Well, because I used to work with him.
But nobody knows who he is, so it doesn't matter. At least I remember Mike Kiddie's name.
Oh, God. Nothing to do with David. Carol wrote, an acclaimed Scottish painter.
She was very good.
Was she?
Yeah.
Was she on, like changing rooms or something?
No, she used to paint. No, she was what was described as a suburban naturalist. And she painted the most fabulous, really controlled and restrained landscapes. And she used to work with oils on boards. And so it became, but what...
Oils on boards, that makes it slippy.
That's like painting a fence, isn't it, really?
Yeah, rather.
Yeah. So she was a fence painter. But no, what she used to do, she had this technique which she painted...
Wow. Hold on a minute.
What?
Lynn's just messaged us.
Who has?
My friend Karen Ford was Miss Booth, the art teacher in Grange Hill.
What's she
and
doing?
She's still acting.
Ooh.
Oops, Lynn knows famous... Oh, we'll have to stand... We should stand up now.
What? Okay.
Because Lynn knows famous people.
Should we stand up?
Well, no, because nobody would hear us if we stood up.
All right.
Yes, we'd have to shout.
Yeah, and she used to paint. It's very interesting, Lynn. Thank you for sharing. I'll tell you about my
He could have sounded more sort of...
I was going to share. I was going to tell her about my time when I got very, very drunk with Alex Higgins and Oliver Reed.
That had nothing to do with Grange Hill.
I never said they did. They got drunk with me. I'm still talking
you're
about
not
me
famous.
At lunch.
You're supposed to be talking about this poor woman who
yeah.
wasn't on any decent TV show painting.
No, because she was a royal thingy artist, wasn't she?
She wasn't even on the big build, was she?
No. She said,
Then we could have talked about Nick Knowles.
Nick Knowles. Do you want me to do me Nick Knowles? No! I can buy Nick Knowles impersonation. He's brilliant. Anyway, yeah.
Sorry, Lynn.
What? What's up now?
I apologise.
When the rain is falling in your face.
What's that got to do with life?
That's Nick Knowles.
Is it?
Yes.
All right.
And anyway, yeah, and she used to paint like she was in a plane.
What? Weightlessness? Upside down?
How many planes have you been in when you got weightless?
Well, I haven't had the joy yet. It costs too much money.
You're not Richard Branson. Anyway.
Oh, I'd love to go on that.
Well, yes, But it's
Well,
it's
yes,
a,
yes,
yeah,
well.
but no, we can't. It's not going to happen.
It will.
It won't.
Richard will make it work.
Yeah, go on, Richard. And anyway, so that's it. And she said, I like it bland. I never understood what she meant by that.
Well, it's like most of this lovey stuff. I like it bland. It is.
No, oh, yes. Oh, right. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody else. I've not mentioned the ConsumerWatchFoundation.com yet, but I have now. And here's the story about bland. Here's a story about bland.
I have a vision now of Debbie Flint sitting there. With the steam coming out of each ear, getting really angry with me.
Are you very bland, Debbie?
Because she's not. And she has, what do they call it? A place where you go and rest up. Not respite. It could be respite, actually, I'm thinking of. Anyway, she has a writer's respite.
Club. Oh, right, yeah.
It's
a thing. I know what you mean.
It's gone.
Retreat.
Retreat, that's the word, thank you. A writer's retreat.
That doesn't mean running away. That's all you
down
can think of.
in the West Country, in this sort of really beautiful area.
Yeah.
And it is pretty, I'll give you that. And all these lovely lovies go there to retreat and recharge their batteries so they can write again.
Lovely, how lovely. That's nothing to do with bland. Yeah, it says the man who was born to be mild. Yeah, and it's nothing to do.
What?
How can?
What?
How can you possibly say? Right, I'm going to tell this story.
Oh,
you know
right.
that stupid song that's got all the dancing sharks?
What?
Oh, that stupid song that's got all the
the kiddies song.
Yeah, the stupid one. Where
Should be number one right now.
Yeah, that's what he said. Shut his gob when I said, yeah, just listen to the original version by the Flaming Lips 10 years ago.
Yeah, right, and?
There was nothing bland about the Flaming Lips. What's bland about the Flaming Lips? What's bland about the Rolling Stones? What's bland about Rembrandt?
Rembrandt?
It's a good pub. Meet there for lunch for a beer.
I've got a load of Rembrandts, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I nicked them off the internet and printed them.
Yeah.
Saved me a fortune. Millions.
Yeah.
Absolute millions.
Yeah.
A bit of a serious news and good news. Armed police hunting for the terror gunman in Strasbourg, which was on a lockdown, have now cornered him. There was
have they got him now?
He's dead.
He is dead, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a shootout in Strasbourg, and forget him. Our thoughts go to the families who've lost their loved ones before Christmas, and those that are still in hospital, and we wish them an amazing recovery. Get well as soon as you can, boys and girls, and let's hope that you're all home for Christmas. Johnny's there. Hello, Johnny.
Hello, Johnny.
Johnny Mono Graham.
Johnny Mono.
Johnny Mono Graham.
Has he only got one here?
No, he's probably he probably likes a lot of our Christmas music. What? It was recorded in magnificent mono. Was. He's looking at me, boys and girls, like I've lost the plot. He pretends to be all articulate about the arts.
I'm very articulate about the arts.
But
I'm
when
not
it comes
talking about Christmas songs in mono. He's not the arts. That's the
Ronettes, the Crystals.
Ronettes really good.
The Ronettes, the Crystals, recorded in magnificent mono in the 1960s with that very special Christmas album.
They were actually recorded in Denver.
Where I can't actually mention the bloke's name because he's a very naughty person these days.
Oh, right. Oh, you haven't got that on, have you?
No, but he produced all the songs for the Ronettes and the Crystals and the like.
You can mention him. He's not that. Well, he's not a terrible man. He's not a Gary Glitter.
He was.
Oh,
sort of.
No, he wasn't. He got done for shooting his wife.
Well, it's not nice, is it?
Well, it depends on... Yeah, no, it says, no, you must not shoot your wife.
Exactly.
No, do not shoot your wife.
I know that when we get married, we've got a life sentence, boys, but don't shoot your wife to get out of it.
That's terrible. No, don't even allude to it. Yes.
Why?
Yes, because love begins with...
Well, actually, you get a shorter sentence if you murder somebody.
No, well, you do. But listen, love begins with hearts. It travels on to diamonds. And it very often ends up with spades.
Oh, this is lovely. Oh, hi to Kevin as well. And Marina. Marina?
Aquamarina.
No, probably is. Marina Mudlaf. I hope.
Mudlaf.
Hi, Eric and guest. Your guest.
Oh, thank you very much.
He's got a name, but we don't use it. Hi, Eric and guest from Germany. I want to wish you a happy Christmas with a little Christmas tree and a little love heart and a smiley. Isn't that lovely? Marina, mwah, back to you.
I'd just like to say that I've been a guest on this show for the last 15 years. Mm-hmm. In fact, I have actually been on the show more than he has.
Which reminds me, 25th of December, the UK Christmas Day, which is slightly different.
Yeah.
No, you know, I'm PETZ. LOL. I don't get that, Marina. Perhaps I'm being thick. I'm having a thick day today.
He is having a funny day.
I'm having a turn.
Yeah.
Anyway, Christmas Day in England, which is the 25th, as opposed to Christmas Day here, which is the 24th.
Yes.
Lee and I will be on the radio live.
We will.
We are going to be live, unrehearsed, unscripted, on everything. And
unlike
God
this.
knows what's going to happen. This is allegedly got a sort of organised thing.
Yeah.
It's
I just can't read it.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, 25th we'll be here. If you're on your own at home, come and join us. If you just with another family member, whatever, and you want a bit of a giggle, you want some music played for you, especially if you're at home, we'll give priority to anybody who's home alone on Christmas. We will be saying hello to you and trying to hook you up with other family members around the world, which is.
Well, come and join us, even if you're not lonely.
Now I know. Yes, I've got it now. So Marina's just sent me an idiot's guide to Marina because I'm being so stupid.
Yeah.
It's Sue's best friend, and that is the lovely Susan Mass from Holland. And that's Marina, who's her best friend.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that lovely? All the way from Germany. Well, if you're going to see Susan, you must give her a hug from me. Yeah. You must do that for me, Marina. Stephen says, "Hi, Eric." Hello, Stephen. Last time I got on a bus, well, I got on the bus and sat down. I couldn't agree with you more, Stephen.
Right.
Absolutely right. I sat there for about 30 seconds looking out of the window and realised the bus driver and a couple of passengers were staring at me. Ooh. So I smiled politely, and then the driver said to me in an inquiring tone, "Are you going to pay the fare or what?" I apologised and said I was waiting for the bus conductor, and the passengers laughed very loudly and said, "What country are you from?" I did feel a little silly, but I had to laugh as well. I get that, Stephen. That makes so much sense, because if you haven't got on a bus for years, you expect there to be a bus conductor.
Yeah, but you have bus conductors for about 50 years.
Have you not?
I don't know. I've never been on a bus.
What, never?
Well, like you, I've been on a bus maybe. The last bus I went on was the number 88 from Moston to Manchester.
Oh dear.
And that was about at least 15 years ago.
20, 25?
Probably.
30?
Yeah.
30?
I'm not 30 yet. Don't be rude.
Right. I couldn't agree with you more, Stephen. I get that totally. You do. You wait for the quality to come round and serve you, don't you?
I think that's a very good point, and we no longer get it, do we?
No, we don't.
No.
But actually, as it goes, we did mention one of the most jovial and happy bus drivers a week or so ago in North London, who says hello to all of his customers as they get on the bus.
Yeah.
Some of the older ladies making biscuits.
Yeah.
It is really cool. Hello to Paul and to John. You're both late. Where have you been? You're late on parade, gentlemen. Now, come on, stop this.
Is that Paul Rustling?
No, it's Paul Bierny.
Bierny?
Right. Oh, no, God. I've been avoiding doing this one.
Why?
Because I'm sad.
Well, there's nothing to be sad about. They're going on to bigger and greater things.
Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond and James May won't be doing any more studio car shows.
Yeah. But what they're doing, I don't think you've caught on to this.
I know they're going to do specials. I get that.
Yeah, they do, but they only did, like, the Gear Knob or whatever it was called, the Grand Tour, they only did 3 or 4 of those at a time, and so it was only on for a very short time. When they were on
shows or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Very short.
But Top Gear, when they were doing Top Gear, there were really good ones with the full movie-length specials.
Oh, yeah, like the one going to the North Pole and going through Vietnam and all those sort of things.
But they're actually going to do Hollywood-style ones now. They've got Hollywood budgets to go out and make gigantic specials. I think this is an incredible accolade.
It could be really good, good,
career.
actually. Oh, well,
Yeah.
it's an accolade for their career, yeah.
Yeah,
But, you know, I just like... Well, I suppose we'll still see the banter between the three of them.
Yeah.
But not with the audience. And there was always that magical part of banter where,
course there was, yeah,
where
yeah.
Clarkson would say, "Do you drive a pretend Bentley?" And everybody would laugh at me. It was just so common. It was just commonplace. And it just... There's something about them. And it's like I put on my Facebook a little bit earlier, the... what is colloquially known as the signature tune for Top Gear, Jessica.
Yeah.
Now, that tune will always be Clarkson, Hammond and May. Nobody else can have that signature tune, and it works, because the minute it comes on, millions just think Clarkson, Hammond and May.
It's sad, really, isn't it? Because they should really think of, what was it called? Slash Out of Guns N' Roses, as he made it. It was famous for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, you're right. But remember, they're going to be doing 8 specials.
I know, every year.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I just wish they'd use Jessica and tell the people at the BBC to get lost. Maybe they will.
Maybe they will. Why couldn't they? Well, the BBC can't own Jessica.
No, but
it's a different version of it.
There's a legal term for it, which is called passing off. Which is intimating you are something when you're not, and that is always the problem. But it's like the chain from Fleetwood Mac. Now that was BBC One's Formula One theme.
Oh right,
and now they've taken that over to Channel 4.
Yeah,
because Channel 4 have got the rights, so they use the chain. And I kind of get it, but I kind of don't all at the same time. But if you didn't use it, when it transferred across to Channel 4, everybody going, well, that's not Formula One. Because Formula One is the chain.
I understand what you're saying, but also in Gear Knob, or whatever it was called, the Grand Tour, they actually brought Mickey takes of the whole format of Top Gear with them.
Oh, yeah.
And really, they could get a different version of Jessica.
But they don't need one. It is them.
I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you.
You sure?
No, I'm agreeing with you entirely. I'm just trying to fill the space.
Let's change the mood a
Let's
bit.
talk about Branson's Virgin Galactic reaches edge of space.
No, we've got to do one of these first, and I haven't done one.
Oh, all right.
And especially at Christmas time, because people do tend to go and do silly things on boats. We hope that this will entice you to generate some or donate some money.
RTI.
Everybody okay? Remember your training, all right?
RNLI lifeboat crews are unpaid volunteers. They rescue 22 people every day. On a lifeboat, training is a matter of life and death, and it costs £1,000 a year for each crew member. As a charity, we receive no UK government funding, so our crew's safety depends entirely on your donations. Please call 0800 543 210 and donate £20 or whatever you can afford. Because next time, this could be for real.
RTI. Mr. Attitude, Eric Wiltshire.
Welcome back to part 2 of Postcard from Poprad. That has got to be the most spooky thing ever. That really has.
Yeah.
Because there we were, asking everybody to support the RNLI, which we do regularly.
Yeah.
Who comes in?
Who?
Paul Rustling.
Oh, is it that? Hello, Mr. Rustling.
Paul Rustling joins the debate as we're talking about the RNLI. And if you're not aware of the reason why, Paul spent a lot of time either working on getting together or helping offshore radio in the UK. And the RNLI were very, very, very kind to the offshore ships in the 60s and 70s. Bless their cotton socks. We also got to say hello to Michael and John Adamson, who's joined us as well.
Hello.
Hi, guys. And we move on to Branson's Virgin Galactica. And I actually watched him interviewed on the TV about this, and there was a really sad point where the interviewer said, so, you know, what about the people that died in the crash? There he is sort of going, we've made it, and then they go back and talk about people who died when you get there. And the reason I say that is, in anything like this, there is typically, and it's sad to say, there is a tragedy. There always is when you're doing this kind of cutting-edge flight. The amount of test pilots over the years that have died is horrific. We don't think about it. We never seem to think about it. But they risk their lives so that we can go into something that's safe. And even down to, they didn't die obviously, but like Brian Trubshaw flying the first ever UK Concorde was just one of the most amazing things ever. And these guys, they're going in planes where nobody knows if they will actually fly properly off the ground.
Well, that's right, yeah, and it's the crash in 2014, which is the one you're mentioning, was quite a tragedy. But yes, when you're breaking down boundaries and you're heading into the unknowns of space in a totally different way, yeah, there's bound to be tragedies. But is it worthwhile? I believe that you have pioneers. You have it's like the wild frontier, isn't it? You have pioneers who break it, and they did.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
I always remember when we restarted RTI. People all went, no, never work,
Nobody died because of it, though.
No, but they all go, no, it'll never work, never. Nobody will ever do that. No, don't be stupid. And yet, if you were sitting in my seat right now, you would see screens that are actually full up with people, and they genuinely are, thousands and thousands of people every day, and they do that regularly, even on his show.
Yeah, I know.
It's amazing they don't turn off.
I know, of course they don't.
I was waiting for that bit to post. I nearly got there.
Anyway,
what?
Yeah, but no, right?
Yes,
Sir Richard. Yes.
Yeah, but.
Said today we have shown Virgin Galactic can open space to the world. And what an evocative and powerful statement to make, and I believe him, and I believe that he needs to be successful because he has had so many blows along the way,
but he's done so many good things as well.
Of course he has.
Yeah, the one thing about Sir Richard, and he just is lovely. Whatever anybody's, I know people go, oh, he's rich, no, he's actually a billionaire now, isn't he?
It's just silly, just because. Why do people hate people because they're rich?
I don't know. Well, when you consider...
Because you can't be rich, that's all. That could be the only reason.
Why?
That they can't be rich.
But there's lots of ways of being rich.
Yeah, you can be rich in happiness, you can be rich in joy, you can be rich in love.
I consider myself one of the richest people on the planet.
Because you know me.
No, that's the downside bit. But in all truth, the amount of things I've been able to do, and I'll give you a perfect example. Most people of our age will remember Telstar, the first satellite that went up, where they got pictures from America to the UK. Now, all right, I know they came down in France first, that doesn't matter. But the fact is, as a little kid, I watched that on a snowy picture on a little television set, and I jokingly said to my father, I'm going to use that dish one day.
Yeah.
And, it was a fun thing. My father never forgot. And years later, there I was at Goonhilly Earth Station using the very dish that was used to pick up Telstar signals, broadcasting a television show. I mean, that is the most wonderful thing you can ever do. And, equally, when you consider the trials and tribulations of this station over its lifetime, we're still here, we're still going forward. And the reason we're going forward is a bit like Richard in a smaller way, is we won't accept no for an answer.
Well, that's right, and we are lucky, and we are rich. You and I personally are
very
rich,
incredibly rich,
because of the fact that, as awful as it sounds, because we're media lovies.
Yeah,
and you've had that. I've been lucky enough because I've been a journalist as such, rather than a broadcaster most of my life, and I've mixed and met and interviewed and got drunk with and entertained and been entertained by the rich and the famous.
Yeah.
I've travelled the world, but I've also been able to help the poor and the damaged and the hurt and the lonely.
Yes.
And that really is the richest thing that could have been given to anybody, to be able to be moved through all aspects of life and do good.
Yeah, that's just an amazing opportunity. And it was like the other day, I was with a couple of people, and there was these were students, and one of the students said to me, "I'll put your name into Google." So I said, "Okay, thank you." And they said, "Are all these videos yours?" I said, "Well, they don't belong to me, but yes, that's me." And they were like, I don't know whether they were in awe or what it was, but because, doing BBC One television in the UK, it was just what I was doing. And I loved every minute of it. I wish I did more of live television, as the lovely Debbie got me doing once. Live television and live radio is by far and away the best form of media anyway. And yet, one day there I was in Germany at a technical show, which brings us on to the next story in a sec, called you're going to shout at me for getting my German wrong, the Funkhausstullen.
Funkhausstullen?
Stullen, yeah.
As in cake?
I don't know.
Funkhausstullen?
Funkhausstullen.
It sounds very German, but I don't know what it means.
Well, it's a big technical gathering in Germany, and it takes about 3 days to get around it. It's so big.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It's like the Gadget Show, but on speed, if you know what I mean. It's just enormous.
We did the Gadget Show, didn't we?
You see, that's what we've done.
Exactly.
And not only did we do the Gadget Show, we did the Gadget Show with Exterminate, the Dalek.
Was it? I don't remember the Dalek.
The Dalek was there, mate, yeah.
I remember that little bloke.
Oh, right. No, because my mate Peter turned up with his Dalek. We recognised each other, and he's part of the Norwich Sci-Fi Society. And he said, "Oh, do you want me to put the Dalek on your stand?" And we went, "Yeah, cool." And it's a life-size Dalek. He sits in it. It's like a giant-size RC.
Well, I actually performed with the News Buddy.
You did?
Yeah, Kelvin Mackenzie's News Buddy. I was there.
And we had him on here as well.
We did.
I can't get my head around this.
Anyway, let's shut up about
it's
us and
just
get on
so
with the
funny.
news.
Yeah, see, now you've done it again. Kelvin Mackenzie. I go into his office one day in the middle of London, and he said, "Okay then, boys." He always used to call us boys. Yeah. We're the same age. He'd call us boys. And he'd go, "Right, okay, boys, we better get some work done then." And he had this enormous oak table in his, desk in his office. All of his office was glass. He could see out at everybody. And his PA was across the hallway in her glass bubble. And he just yelled at her.
He was a very yelly man.
Yeah, he did. He just yelled at her. He said, "Get your bottom in here." And at which point he put his hand to the left of the table, swept it across the table.
Yeah,
all the day's
terrible.
newspapers went on the floor, all of his memos, the whole shooting match went on the floor, and she had to come in there and pick them all up.
He was, in lots of ways, a very, very awkward, very nasty, very show-off. But he was a show-off, and that was part of the problem. I actually witnessed him doing this.
He was a character.
He was a character. Of course he was. He was there with the great grand doyens of newspaper editors.
Absolutely.
But he actually once, in front of everybody, as a matter of shock value, stirred his coffee with his gentleman's sausage.
Yes, there are many stories like that as well, where we won't go there either.
Naughty Kelvin.
Oh dear, Funkhausstullen, that was the one. Anyway, footage of an artificial intelligent robot appeared on Russian state television.
Oh, I missed that one.
Only to later find out it wasn't a robot, was it?
No.
Mr. Put-it-in.
Yes, Mr. Put-it-in.
Your lot were fibbing. You were fibbing. You were fibbing. So good old Mr. Putin was fibbing again. It was presented as Boris, the dancing, singing robot. Unfortunately, it wasn't a robot, it was a costume.
Yeah.
So Mr. Putin's people were telling porcupines again and telling us all naughty stuff.
It's so funny. The official media said, "There's the opportunity to see the state-of-the-art robots. Boris the robot has already learned to dance." Yeah, it was a bloke in a robot
He
costume.
was, and not
Mr.
only that.
What's it?
Hi, Martina. Not only that. Say hello to Martina.
I've just
In
said hello.
Slovak.
Nobody did, Martina.
Now say, how are you?
I've forgotten that one. Oh no.
Ako Samaj.
Aqua Samaj.
No, Ako.
Aqua Samaj.
Oh God, she's going to die now. Anyway, the reason this was exposed was that
Because he was a con.
bloggers found the website where you could buy the robot costume. So, Mr. Putin, you're telling porkies again.
It's just so funny saying, the robots had a voice, and he, supposed to, metallic voice says, I am good at maths, but now I want to study art and musical composition.
It's appalling.
Yeah, he was a bloke doing that.
I know. It's like a mate of mine the other week. He was doing something, and I just had this idea of putting a little jingle together for him.
Yeah.
As you do, for your mates. And so I went on my keyboard, and then he wrote. I sent it over to him, and he wrote me back and said, "Wow, what production house did you get that done in?" I said, Partizanska 65 Poprad. And he said, "Well, who's the production company?" I said, "My laptop."
Yeah, that's right.
Because I'd made one of those talky voices, and it went, and at the beginning of it went as those jingles do, and he loved it.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what, and they are so stupid, these people, because they don't realise that so many other thousands and thousands of people realise what you're doing when you put a pretend robot on the television, especially on the news channel, which is on 24 hours a day. How stupid can you get?
But I have a robot back in England that brings me beer. It's dead simple. And it talks to you and it can sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Kyle's got a robot as well, my son.
Yeah, so?
It's
It's
what's
not,
3 foot?
it's not a robot wars.
3 foot. Yeah, I
Mine's
think
3
it's-
foot.
Yeah, but this is believe it or not, you have to blow it up.
No, mine's a proper robot.
But it's a robotic at the bottom. You know, the controls at the
No,
bottom.
this is a proper one.
Because it's a 3 foot tall Dalek.
Yeah.
And they were given to journalists at the start of a new series to promote.
Right, yeah,
do you remember?
Yes, I do, yeah.
They're proper
Yeah,
Daleks,
yeah.
but they talk to you, do everything else you want, and they're just fun toys. They really are.
This is brilliant, yeah, because it's got a thing on your wrist, and that's what makes it move. And if you talk into that, it comes out as a garlic. A garlic voice.
That's exactly right. David's got one in the Dalek itself.
Yeah.
It's like a big box, and you talk into it through a tube, and the sound comes out as if it's a Dalek. Yeah. I can't make one of those one day.
I'll help you.
Thank you. I'm going to move on because we've done at least 10 minutes of news in the hour. I'm going to move on to bereaved mothers who are criticising Facebook, and they're absolutely right. I find this abhorrent, what happens with the appalling, absolutely disgusting, unchecked algorithms that Facebook use. And I know there's going to be some anoraks that go, oh, you can't do that because of the geo locks this and the... No, get a life. Stop it. The reason is that some bereaved mothers who've lost children or had stillborn children have been getting adverts about baby stuff when they go on to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and various other ones. And the fact is that nobody's thinking, they're just using a computer to let the computer control what goes out.
That's right.
This is the point where you need to put human beings in there to make it work, because you can only get black and white logic from a computer. You need grey areas, the bits in the middle, which actually asks the question why and what if. And if you apply the what if test to adverts, it's something a computer cannot do. And Facebook has got to wake up to this, or it is going to get hammered shortly.
Well, it's going to get hammered by the Consumer Watch Foundation.
Well, that's very true.
Probably next week. And may I just interject and say why? Because at this moment, the Facebook press office are refusing to answer. They're accusing Eric Norman Wiltshire here of being a spammer. They're accusing me.
Oh, do you want the late? Well, I sent it to you, didn't I? I put it on Facebook in the end.
What?
The latest one, I got banned.
Yeah.
from sending out an event.
Yeah.
Because they said I was abusing... Me? Abused position? Never, ever, ever. I was abusing the invitation system to the Christmas Day programme from RTI, which we do annually. And we do it annually to work with people who are on their own at Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, that is the point, isn't it?
Because I was trying to share it into as many places where I knew... There were single people on their own people, basically saying to them, don't be on your own Christmas Day. Lee and I and anybody else who turns up here will be here to have a chat with. You know, we'll play some music together, have a chat together, whatever. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I got a ban for.
Right, let me finish
Unbelievable.
what I'm saying. Let me finish what I'm saying, because this is really important. And if anybody out there has any experience of this, please write to me or Eric or the Consumer Watch Foundation and tell us. Because what Facebook are doing on a regular basis is banning Eric, who's doing that kind of thing, and lots of other things which are important to the community. They are banning me. I was banned within, I think it was 6 hours of being allowed back on, because they said that I was spamming. And what had actually happened was that 2 posts had gone out, and then I put a link to that post in a message, and they said that was spamming. Now, they're also regularly banning the groups that fight for parental alienation. They're banning a TV company which is there for family use. It is a family-owned, family-orientated television station. And the reason is because we are getting to be big. And what happens immediately, just like happened to this poor mother, is that immediately we banned. Facebook write to us and say, we will put your post out we will put this post out, the one you've been banned for $15 or for $20.
Yep.
It is outrageous. And the press department, if you're listening to us, Facebook, tell your press people to answer the questions we've sent you. Otherwise, you will not be represented in the story. Only the people you are treating badly will be.
Oh, I think the funniest one was getting chucked out of a group, which I've subsequently set up my own group to do the same thing, about being a DJ. And I was really confused because I didn't understand why people were answering questions in certain ways. And it suddenly dawned on me, hang on a minute, it could be because they're either in America, Australia or somewhere else where the rules about radio are different. So I put up this thing, look, to find out where everybody is, could you just say which continent you're from? So I put this thing up, and I put America and Europe and Australia and other bits. And then this guy added, mind your own business.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
With a note underneath saying, you don't have the right to know this sort of thing, blah, blah, blah. Well, of course, that put his name there. And by putting his name, in 2 seconds flat, I knew that he came from Illinois. So I responded as such, saying you shouldn't do things like this. It was actually advice.
Yes.
And seconds after that, I get banned.
Well, also...
And then Facebook tell me that's why I'm a naughty boy.
Yeah, but you got me banned.
I know.
You got me. He got me banned because I did advertently put a post up twice. He rang me up or Skyped me or whatever and said, you put that up twice, I'm going to take it down. All right. I said, yeah, no problem, mate. That's it. He took it down. I got banned for spamming. Then,
my fault. Blame me for it. Everything's my fault. Yeah, come on, it's my fault.
But a group called the Moston Remembered, right, I'd done the same thing. I'd put the same post up twice accidentally. They Skyped me or messaged me saying, look, that post up twice, you don't mind if I take one down, do you? And I said, no, of course I don't, duck. That's it. They took it down. I got banned or got in touch with Facebook, and they said, it's because an administrator took one of your posts out. I said, no, because I told him to.
Unbelievable.
Incredible.
Again, it's computers and algorithms controlling people.
Yeah.
It should be the other way round. People control computers, not the
Yes.
other way round.
It's like put it in's robots.
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
At least they're controlled by human beings.
Very good. Yeah, very good riposte. Comedians refuse to sign a behavioural agreement before doing a gig.
Good on you.
And I've got to say, Constantine, you are a absolute genius, a gentleman and a scholar. This is all to do with a school in London, and it was a properly organised event. Where the money was going to UNICEF, which is great. Now, let me just remind people of some things. I am fat.
Oh, no, you're just rotund.
I am fat.
Rotund.
And as such, people can tell me fat jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
No, and I'm
not
tall.
according to these. Yeah, God, flipping it. What's the weather like up there, Lee?
Exactly. What's it like down there?
Absolutely. I can't see your head, Lee. It's in the clouds, etc., etc. And you know, comedy is about things that go wrong, about colour, about creed. Here, for example, which is what I love about here, one of the things that's great, is you get one group of people in Central Europe, say the Czechs, they will tell jokes about the Slovaks. The Slovaks will tell the exactly same jokes, but it's about Hungarians. And round it goes. And do you know what? Nobody falls out of bed over it.
No, there is a point where it goes too far, and actually, if you look at the list of topics which he was told he couldn't, he wasn't told he couldn't tell jokes about.
But there was a list of topics.
Yeah.
Included racism, sexism, classism,
ageism,
ableism, homophobia, biphobia, transphobia, xenophobia, Islamophobia,
I think you're having a joke.
Any religion or
anti-atheism.
What's anti-atheism got to do with it?
Anti not believing in a religion.
That's ridiculous.
That's incredible. You anti people who don't believe in religion.
Hello, good morning, wake up.
Be fair, they did say this doesn't mean that these topics cannot be discussed, but it must be done in a respectful and non-abusive way. Now, actually, I understand that, because jokes about anything, as far as I'm concerned, the same as you, are go.
Yeah.
But they can't be abusive, and they can't be belittling, and they can't be disrespectful.
And you know what the truth is, and which brings me back to my pet subject of the moment, the snowflakes of the world, the very, very, very politically correct liberal...
Does everybody know what a snowflake is? Because I think it's wrong that should be used. I think that's snowflakeism.
I like that. Yes, we'll have to do another one, snowflakeism. Yeah. But it is true. And what these people don't realise is, actually, you're putting all of these subjects underground and making them potentially worse, because the amount of little graphic images I get, and they're not bad, jokes about Irish people. Yeah. There are thousands and thousands of them that whiz around the internet, and there are some homophobic jokes about, but they're done in an absolutely funny way. For example, one's got an image of two young ladies, and it says, if you don't recognise the difference, you must be gay. Now, what's wrong with that?
Well, let's just say here, we have a problem. We're doing a pantomime for Christmas, aren't we?
Oh, God,
and
no.
one of our people, somebody who is involved, has said that we should not use a gay character in that. What I want to know is what they've got against gays.
I have no idea at all. It's nearly over, boys and girls. We've got to say goodbye. Time for us to get out, because Steve's train is arriving. Steve will find that funny. Nobody else will. Steve Bishop's into trains, you see.
Oh, yeah, don't bash him.
No. Oh, no.
It's Christmas.
Oh, flipping it. They get worse. So anyway, you doing anything special?
What, when?
Weekend.
I'm making shows, because if you remember, my computer broke last week and I'm behind now, so I've got to stay in and do
You
them.
broke your computer.
No, that naughty Andrea broke it.
You broke your
naughty Andrea broke it by leaving me by myself.
Yeah, right. He's such a little layer, that boy. Anyway, you can hear the unbroken computer results on Tuesday here on RTO.
Oh, look, he's mentioned me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Tuesdays.
I've managed nearly a whole year without doing that.
Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays, actually.
I know. I've managed a year without doing it.
I know, he just blanks me. Just blanks me.
Anyway, say goodbye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
That was Postcard from Poprad for another week. We'll be here next week, as usual, because we're professional broadcasters and don't take holidays like the rest of these little numpties do. It just leaves me to say Steve Bishop is up next. We'll see you soon. Have a great week till next week. Bye-bye.
The Station of the Stars. RTI.